It's time for NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. Join your host, the accomplished Dr. Cherilyn Lee, as she welcomes the leading experts in health and well-being as they explore the advancements in natural health, physical fitness, nutrition, integrative medicine, and self-discovery.
Welcome everyone to another wonderful, fabulous show. And as I always say, I have such fabulous guests. I'm so excited to have the guests that I have today. And our topic today is loving yourself unconditionally, which says a lot, loving yourself unconditionally. Because if we loved ourselves unconditionally, we would love our neighbor and we would not have so much hatred in this world today. So loving ourselves unconditionally goes much further than just ourselves, but it starts with you first. And my guests, we're going to dive into some things, and we're going to talk about some things, some wonderful things that they're doing in their lives. And, it takes a lot of people to formulate a wonderful village. And this is what we're doing for all over the world to help people to heal, to grow, to love themselves. So let you know there's so many people out here you can reach out to for help. I am so glad to introduce my wonderful guest. My guest here, Tomasa. I'm going to let you say your last name, okay?
Macapinlac.
Okay, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And then I also have Paula. And Paula, I'm going to let you just say your last name too, because I...
Sure. Dendrea.
Thank you both. Thank you both for being here, and let you see all the applause. People are so happy you're here in the studio. It is wonderful. Thank you. So I'm going to start first with Paula.
Okay.
Paula, I'm going to let you kind of just tell me a little bit about your background and what are you all about, Paula?
I'm all about, I've really, really loved your opening, Dr. Lee. And if there was something that I'm about, I would say that that's what I'm on for. I call it adding to the hum of the world. You really broke it down into a few different ways about, really knowing yourself, doing any healing that you have to do within so that then you can, be in your highest vibration and, welcome other people, ideas, and really be the best version of you going out into the world to do whatever it is that you do really well and helping other people along with it. So my part in it is really, really helping people get into that spot where they're in that aligned and authentic space to really be able to contribute the best that they can to themselves, their family, and the world at large.
Yes, and I love how you have such great eye contact with our guests, with our viewers who are tuning in today. I really thank you for that, and we're going to go a little bit more deeper about what it is you do. But I want Tomasa, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're all about.
Well, many people know me as a self-care queen, and they know me that because I embody that, I do that, and I advocate that for others. Really, self-care is so much deeper than, taking a bubble bath or getting a massage. And I advocate self-care going on these deep levels of getting to know yourself and love yourself, all parts of yourself, all the flaws and everything. And when you embody that and understand that and have compassion for yourself, you can radiate that out to the universe, to others, and everyone will feel that. And that grows. And so I'm really about the ripple effect of radiating love out to the world. And how can we do that? We have to start with ourselves first.
We certainly do.
Yes.
We certainly do. And thank you. You did that really wonderful in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul, I want to ask you, where is the first step or the beginning of transforming or transformation? Where would you say, how would this begin for a person?
I think that there's usually it kind of comes from two places. It's where somebody is either disrupted. Unfortunately, there may be a life event that kind of stirs them into action, or just they realize that I'm not where I want to be. And as you know, we have so much to take in during the day, and now in this day and age with so much, screaming for our attention, it really is allowing yourself to really, take a look at where you want to make that change in your life. It's about allowing your body and your mind to relax, and really so that you can start to get some clarity. And once you're able to learn how to really quiet the noise, the external noise, you can then just turn your attention inward into your internal space and, let what's ready to come up at this point in your life come up and start to make the change and step into transformation.
Right. I just want to ask you work with the clients, is correct?
I do. I work one-on-one, and then I'm also offering to group experience as well.
Okay. And nowadays, and what's happening right now in the world today, what do you see most of? What would you say what's needed most, and what do you see as far as complaints or people calling you up who need help? Is it more relationship problems? What's going on in the world today? To be transformed business-wise, what do you see as far as you broke it down in percentages?
Well, what I see is that when someone is stuck in their business, it means they're stuck with themselves.
Okay.
That's really, so that's number one. So if they're struggling, it's like, it's kind of like, what's that component behind your marketing, your branding, any nutritional path you're going to follow, diet and exercise. It all comes back to you. So it's about the person, first of all. So regardless of where they're coming into, I think that primarily it is they feel that they've, in a way, hit a wall where they have a certain amount of success. Their finances are pretty good. They may or may not be in relationship. A lot of people tend to be not in relationship. And they do realize that, again, that missing component of getting them what they really want in their life is themselves. So they have like that one last thing that they just haven't resolved up till now. They may have done a lot of therapy, they may have done other coaching programs, and it's really coming that. So that it begins with them, so that then they can, go to that broader spectrum into health and relationship, and then stepping up into that fuller potential they have in their business.
I really like case studies or case testimonies. Mm-hmm. So if you could give me one of one of your patients right now to kind of walk through, because people who are listening and our listening audience, there's so many people that are going through things, and sometimes you feel that I'm the only one. This could not have happened to someone else.
It's very real. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually two that come to mind. One that I think is really common for midlifers, which is pretty much I deal a lot with, or a lot of my clientele are career-minded midlifers. And here's one very specific: is someone who we had begun working to broaden their business scope and really just, clearing all those remaining doubts and fears and, all of those type of things. And they lost a sibling. And within a couple of months, stepped into, trying to get their career back on track, opening that up, dealing with grief, and then becoming a caretaker.
Oh my
all
goodness.
Within a very short amount of time. And
Right.
I think that that's a very real position for a lot of people at this juncture in their lives.
Yes.
So that's, so that definitely is a struggle that is real of someone,
It's
having to put
amazing,
their
not to
life
cut
on
you
hold
off,
a little
but
bit.
It's amazing you said that. On the way here, I had a practitioner call me who's looking for a caregiver. And it's amazing that you brought that up, because there's so many things and that are needed, and so many people are going through. And for you to have the instrument as a coach, you would say coach? Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To help them through this journey is really amazing. I've been knowing you for a long time, and I know the warmth and how compassionate you are with people. and it's really beautiful. That's why I have
Thanks.
you here as a guest.
Thank you. I
Because
appreciate that.
of the work that you're doing, and I really admire the work that you're doing. We know so many of the same wonderful people, and that are doing great things as well. So
Thanks very much.
I just really thank you for being here.
For
We're
sure.
going to talk over a little bit more. I'm going to now go to Tomasa.
Okay.
Tomasa, my goodness. Tell me about, why did you choose this type of career? We all have a life journey as to why we jumped into a career in the first place. So what brought you to this career that you're doing now?
Wow. So, in my 20s, I'm 54 years old today.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Well,
goodness.
not today. I'm
Okay.
saying I'm 54 years old.
I was going to sing happy birthday.
Exactly.
No,
Nobody
that was
want to hear
months
me
ago.
sing. Okay, nobody want to hear me sing. Okay, good. Okay.
But, in my 20s, I learned, I have an engineering degree.
Okay.
I went to Berkeley, and I came out of school, and I went to go work in the industry. And I was not in love with that.
Yes.
And it didn't fit the bill for me. I wasn't passionate about it. I'm a people person.
Mhm.
And so it was a brother-in-law who said to me, my former brother-in-law said to me, Tomasa, you can love the work that you do. And I said, what, really? And so that set me out on the mission to find something that I really did love to do and had passion for.
Yes.
And so it all kind of happened for me in the corporate world.
Mhm.
When I was in my early 30s, I got really sick. And a place of sick where my immune system was compromised, and I was tired and fatigued, and I had 2 small children. My daughters were toddlers at that time, and I was married at the time. And for me, what happened is I wasn't getting well anytime sooner. I went to the doctor. The doctor told me to go home and get bed rest for a few days. She thought that's what I needed as a mom, a working mom at that. And so I did that, and I didn't get any better. And so I went to a practitioner, and it was the advice of a coworker. And it was a holistic practitioner who did what I do today.
Okay.
I do a little bit more of that, but it was what I did today, and I do today. And so I got on the table. I received from her. It's energy work. It's sort of like a jumper cable, restoring my body.
Right.
And
right.
so I got on the table, and I received, and I just looked at her, and what I felt was I was being plugged back into source. And so that was a radical thing for me at that moment, and I made a decision that I was going to start seeing this practitioner on a weekly basis. So I started doing that. And then after about 6 months, I really tried to cut it back to every other week, and I just couldn't because of all the stress and, everything. And it really maintained my body. It started to clear up a lot of things, everything from asthma to allergies to the soles of my feet were burning. I could actually walk now. I could exercise. I have more energy and everything. And so she taught a self-help class. And so I began to take the self-help class from her.
Mhm.
And from there, I decided that I wanted to learn more. And that's how I became a practitioner.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know that you also have a book, and tell me a little bit about the book.
So 30 Days to a Vibrant, Healthier, Younger You. Should I show that?
Yeah, he's gonna. Jarvis is wonderful as a producer over here, so he's gonna have everything so everybody could see it nice and clear.
Okay.
Okay. So don't
great.
worry about that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So I wrote this book last year. Actually, I did an information product back in 2014 called 30 Days to a Vibrant, Healthier, Younger You. And it's great. Everybody wasn't really jumping on board to do this. I had a lot of people who bought the product, and I wanted to reach more people because I wanted people to understand that really learning how to work on yourself. And that's what it was, an information product to help to learn how to do all these jumper cable things on yourself, to restore your energy. I wake up in the morning. If I'm not focused, I know what I need to do to get focused and to have more energy. I want everybody else to know that. And I didn't want people to know, to wake up in the morning and go, I'm so tired, and they get through their day and they don't feel great. So I wrote this book called 30 Days to a Vibrant, Healthy, Younger You, and I took it to another level than the information product. I included everything that I have embodied and practiced in my life since probably my 20s.
Okay.
So this is about your thoughts, to nutrition, to exercise, to your environment, what you include in your environment, having a non-toxic environment, and then also learning how to work on yourself energetically. And it's so much more than just, jumper cabling yourself, but really getting inside of yourself and understanding why we do the things we do and what happens when we're triggered and what we can do when we are triggered and, those kinds of things. And really coming into this place of being centered and loving yourself and having that radiate out into the world.
Okay. Well, me, I like case studies.
Yes.
So give me one of yours from kind of beginning to end there on a patient or a client that you worked with.
Oh, I love this one. Okay. Mm-hmm. So many people see this probably in a lot of my promotional work. I have a client. Her name is Ruby. And Ruby was probably in her late 50s when she discovered me or found me. I was actually assisting at a shamanic work with her. And so she came to see me because she had a hip that was really bothering her. And so it had been a chronic issue. So she started to see me. The hip problem started to go away. And there are just various things that she came to see me for, group trainings, also just different things. And so what happened with her is that she finally took a class with me learning how to jumper cable herself besides me doing it. Mm-hmm. And so it was great and all. She took it, she put it on the shelf, didn't do anything with it. So a couple of years later, because she's really a healer, I tend to attract those healer types, creative types, very highly sensitive people. Mm-hmm. And so she came to me because she wanted me to help her with some business coaching. And I said, okay, I could do that. I was starting to do that in my business for other healers. And so what began to happen was she pulled the work, the books and everything I had given her from my class off the shelf. She's driving one day and she's like, I wonder if the stuff that Tomasa has taught me could help me. So she began to do this work from the book. And the books that the handouts I had given in class and the books and things. Mm-hmm. And so she started to do that, and she began to see her hip problem go away. And not only what happened with that, she was at a size 14 in her life, wearing a size 14. And I remember saying to her back in 2000, and I believe it was 2011, saying, wouldn't it be great you can get down to a size 4? Oh, no, honey, these hips are never going to fit in a size 4. Well, a couple years later, after she started doing this work on herself, what happens is your baggage starts to spread. You get rid of it. You start to shed it. And I'm not talking about baggage as far as just weight, because baggage is energetic as well. And so what began to happen is she came to me one day and she said, Tomasa, I have these clothes now and they don't fit anymore. I'm not sure what size I wear. And I said, interesting. I'm curious. Let me know when you go shopping what size you wear. So what happens for her, not only did her hip problem go away, she started walking and exercising because she wanted to do it because of the work, but she also started eating differently, and she wanted to eat more healthier things. And so she started to do that. She went gluten-free. She really started to eat the way she needed to for herself, for her body. And she started doing this work on herself daily. And with that, she went shopping, and she texted me one day, and she says, guess what? I wear a size 4. And I said, I'm not surprised. And so I watched her go from this person who had this hip problem, who wasn't really taking care of herself. And when she not only saw me one-on-one, but she started to embody the work and do it on herself. Mm-hmm. She began to heal herself on a whole nother level. So this is really self-healing and loving herself. And so with that, she had such big transformational changes happen to her.
Right.
So
I've been seeing since my training, because I'm an RN and a nurse practitioner and a whole other certificates and degrees, but what I want to say, when I was working in my training in the 70s, mm-hmm. It was a pediatric training rotation. And what I saw there, it was just so sad. And that's when I learned then failure to thrive because of lack of love. This mother had a poor relationship with the husband. And more so, she was more jealous of the baby because he gave more attention to the baby and not her. And this is like I said, this is in the 70s. And the baby, she would nurse the baby for a moment while he was there at home. And when the husband would leave and go to work, she put the baby in the crib and pushed it up against the wall and left it there until he came home. So this baby did not grow. By the time it came to the hospital, it was 7 months old. It looked like a 2-month-old, failure to thrive. So there's a medical terminology, and that's the medical terminology of failure to thrive, from the lack of love. We have to be loved and nurtured from infancy on up. So loving thyself, we have to love that little person once it's born. People have children, you should love that child. If you don't, then you should make some other arrangements with someone that maybe possibly that will love that child. But that was the first time I came in contact with something that was so devastating as it relates to love. So loving thyself, loving is so important. Again, we would not have all these problems if people really loved themselves. You wouldn't have so much hatred going on if you loved yourself. So, and I know there's probably people who disagree with me, but you know what? Look at yourself. I tell people to get up in the morning, get as close to that mirror as possible, and look at yourself in the eyes, and then tell yourself, I love me. I love every inch of my body. Take a step back and look at everything, because sometimes we just will hone in on something that's, so small and so minute. Like I had a hernia from a surgery where I wasn't sutured properly. Well, I was the only one that hyper-focused on it. I wore all these long scarves trying to cover it up, and now it's gone from just leaving it alone and doing my isometric exercises. It's gone. So it's no longer something that looked like an alien trying to escape from my upper stomach anymore. And it looked horrible. But we must love ourselves, love our bodies, and love who we are. So going internally, but take a good look at yourself. A lot of people never look at themselves. Yeah, you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, comb your hair, but you don't look at yourself. You don't really look into your own eyes. And when you look into your own eyes and say, I love me, I love myself unconditionally. I love myself just as I am, because the universe, God did not make anything that was not imperfect. You are a perfect human being. So you might look at yourself and say, no, I'm not, but be very clear as there's no mistakes whatsoever. But when you start loving yourself, you feel better. You start your day by loving yourself, do some little exercises to get the right brain and left brain working in the mornings by just, there's a lot of YouTube exercises to show this, to really get that right brain, left brain going. And just stand in one place and kind of move the legs back and forth as hard as you can for a moment if you can, because that helps with the lymphatic system. And then drink some water. People get up, they don't drink water. So it's really important that you do that. You went all those hours with nothing in your stomach. Get up and put some water in there and hydrate yourself, because people wake up and they say, my mouth is dry and all these things are happening. Hydrate. And as I always mention too, because there's so much going on and there's so much stress in the world, I always want to let people know to please check your cortisol levels. If you don't know your inflammation markers and different things, check those out. You can go to lifeextension.com and order your own lab work. You do not need a doctor's prescription to order them. You don't want to play medicine on yourself. Please don't do that. You can always call me at 310-419-4300, the clinic, and we can go over it. But people all over the world, I have them do all of their lab work, send it to me, and we analyze it, send it back so they know where you are. If you're feeling good, get a baseline. Do a male profile, female profile, hormone. You want to know where you are, because too many things happen. We're inundated with a lot of radiation in our atmosphere, and you want to take care of yourself. Plutonium, there's a lot going on. The reason why you might not feel good and might feel off-centered, because there's still a lot of things happening within the environment. So check yourself out. Heavy metal testing, they also will do that. Check yourself out, please. because every day, it isn't one day that doesn't pass, I do not receive a call of someone new that's been diagnosed with cancers and autoimmune disorders. So please check yourself before you have symptoms. A lot of things are under the heading of what is called silent killers. We love ourselves. We take care of ourselves on every level. It's very important. So I'm going to go to Paula for a moment here. And Paula, we spoke about the beginning of a transformation. So now we're going to talk about what is the second part of the transformation. And then I want you to kind of go into a little bit more about closing that out. And what is the secret of how a person can get to that level? And I don't, is there a secret? But, you're going to tell me more about that. So what is kind of the second component of transformation? Thank you, my wonderful producer.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say right on to the whole last segment that you just delivered. I was just nodding and taking all of that in, and it's spot on. And actually, a lot of what you said about love and really looking at yourself in the mirror, about loving yourself, is the second part of the transformation. I'm on a mission. And part of that mission is to bring people into that space where they feel more wholeness with how they can love themselves. And I use the Ho'oponopono, and I have a recording that's going to be coming out, and it's one of the first places that I work with people. So that second component, after you let your body and mind relax and start to let yourself be.
Yes.
Is to open that heart, to start tapping in and saying, what is it that put it on lockdown? Where is the forgiveness? So when you're talking about, adding to the hum of the world of, loving one another, of getting rid of that hate, there's something inside most people that is so squashed, so tight. And that forgiveness is such a beautiful piece that I just want to turn everybody on to it. It's that I really think is going to go a long way in helping the harmony within the world. First of all, starting with yourself and creating harmony. So many people are looking for balance. Mm-hmm. Harmony is where it's at.
Definitely.
Tomasa spoke so eloquently about, and I love the person that she worked with, dropping down so many sizes and making so many changes. And when you're able to, have that release, open up the heart, look at yourself, accept yourself for all the flaws and imperfections, all the judgment that you've put on yourself, and just go, hey, and just be.
Just be.
That's beautiful.
Just be. Yes.
That's beautiful. And so when we look at, those two areas and starting to get into that space, I think that you're looking for, what is the secret, of people getting what they want, is then when you leave yourself alone enough to get into that space, you can start looking at what you want. Exactly. And that is the key, and so many people are unspecific about what they want, and they're just letting life do them, So it's like, okay, now I can relax myself, my body, my mind, get some clarity, open up my heart, and see how I want to do life.
Yes.
That's the game changer. So when you come into that alignment with, seriously who you are, like really pull it in, who I am, how I want to show up in the world, what I value, what I believe in, and what can I expand into. Yes. That's it.
That's wonderful.
You're golden.
Golden. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Golden. Yeah. I have written a book as well entitled Written Before I Was Born. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but there is a chapter in my book on forgiveness, the journey or the path to healing. And actually, I've been in 2 comas, as a lot of people know. But coming out of the first coma, where I went to hell, it was using the word forgiveness that brought me back. So forgiveness is very powerful, very, very powerful. Powerful. And I just want to say that, the book is on Amazon, Written Before I Was Born. It's an audio book. But I tell everyone, and in working with my patients as well, that's where we start. We start with prayer, forgiveness, before we do anything. That's part of the initial workup, because I'm very thorough. So we go through step by step by step. the medical component, the physical exam, the lab work, the history, everything. But that emotional is first. Because if I don't deal with the emotional component, you can come in, I don't care, it could be your hair is falling out or your hair is not growing. Who are you falling out with? I mean, it's layers and layers and layers. So to look at everything, I love that. That was in Louise Hay's book. I love that component of her book, and I use it a lot too with symptoms as it relate that one. And I love this book. I think everyone should have it in their home just as kind of a library. It's called Feelings, Buried Alive and Never Died. It's a very good book. So it deals with a lot of symptoms as it relate to emotions as well. And people just take a look at it. Just take a look at it and kind of see where you are. Actually, it's on YouTube as well. And so, which is really good. But not trying to heal yourself, but sometimes you get stuck in something, and you're like, I need something right quick. Maybe I can't get to Paula or to Tomasa or myself. And you can start looking through things yourself and then say, okay, I'm going to take this now and see a practitioner. So I'm just very thankful that I'm in the business that I'm in, and I meet such wonderful practitioners that are here and coaches that are also helping people to heal. Is really amazing. So I just want to ask too, what would be the most profound situation that you have dealt with in your practice? And I'll go ask you that question first, Paula.
Wow.
Well, let me rephrase that. Let me just rephrase it and say, in this day and time, what would you do to help bring more peace into the world? You know, I actually am an ambassador for through the Women's Health Federation for World Peace. And so I do a lot of that myself. And I'm going to bring you ladies and invite you to the next meeting. But what would you do as a practitioner to help make changes? Subtle. I mean, and not subtle, because every person really is a major change that you come in contact with. I know that. So what would you do? What would you like to see happen?
I think that, really offering what I just said, like bringing people into that space of forgiveness, it is a huge, huge piece.
It is.
What I find for a lot of people, and I see it over and over again, I use certain techniques that help people release major emotions, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, things of that nature. And what I find a lot of people that affects a lot of people is sadness. They're holding on to sadness. People have never grieved things. They don't they experience things earlier in life that they didn't even know that they should be letting go of, and they're holding on to so much. And I think that space of being able to tap in and just forgive yourself, first of all, and then just go through the process that I'm offering in the recording. It is something that, use for yourself. Do it with your family, your mother, first of all, because your mother carried you in the womb, right? And that's a big connection. And it's not cutting people out of your life. It's really is just, losing the connection, all of the stuff that's associated with, it's like thick. You can think of this like big cable that is going from you to somebody else. And it's that molehill that becomes the mountain, and then by the time it's like this should be this little thread, and then it's like this gigantic trunk that's getting attached, and it's this energy that keeps on. The story gets bigger and bigger, and it's like, just cut it right off, pull it out from everywhere that it's attached to you inside, and just let it go, and restore your own energy, bring your energy back to yourself.
Because you'll feel the energy draining from those areas.
Oh, for sure,
Because when people come in and they have liver issues, I mean, if you look at the emotional component with the liver, the gallbladder, the stomach, even the vision, there are medical components to it as well, but there's also emotional. So when you start unplugging, I love that, Paula. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just cut the cord, totally slash it, use whatever you need to do.
And you feel it. You'll feel like, oh my, I feel like I'm floating now almost.
You do. You feel lighter. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know, because I've done that.
Yep. Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's a journey.
I mean, it's amazing what and the thing is too is that you have to get to a point where life is short. Every single one of, I learned firsthand, I've been to the extremes of emotional pain, I've been to the extremes of physical pain. And all those trite sayings that people say of life is too short, live every day like it's your last. When you're in those shoes where that's what you're looking at, you do. And you want to let these things go. So don't wait till you get to those. No, it's not. It is, it's not to discredit anybody or what they had going on. We've all had experiences. Everybody has their own story. You do too. I've got mine.
Mm-hmm.
However, I've been down that road where it tore me apart. And I just had to be like, I got to step back from this because my heart is more precious to me. People don't realize you're talking about body components, about vision, about your adrenals, your heart, how much stress you're putting on your body to hold this stuff in. It is not worth it.
No.
Let it go.
It isn't. And I tell anyone who's doing this, and sometimes you don't know you are, but if someone bring up a person's name or a situation and your heart start racing or your pulse start racing, you have not completed. You're letting go. It does not happen by sitting down and say, okay, I forgive everyone now. It doesn't happen. It starts. That's a good start.
That's an opening.
That's definitely an opening, but you need more. You got to keep going because it's every day that something happens, and you might have to forgive something driving down the street. Somebody cut you off. Going in the supermarket and they overlooked you and went on to the next person. And you're like, hey, I'm still standing here. And you get this rage start building up. When that happens, your body becomes very acid. A lot of people check their pH. Your pH is very acid. What grows in an acid environment in your body? So, a lot of people are doing alkaline water. I said you can drink all the alkaline water you want, but if you have this negative anger personality, all the alkaline water in the world is not going to help you. So in saying that, Tomasa.
I love it.
Okay.
I'm totally on board with you with the acidic environment versus the alkaline environment in your body. And definitely stress and anger and emotions that we hold inside will create a very acidic environment. So a lot of people want to do it with food, and great, but you're right. If you've got all these emotions, then you're going to create an acidic environment. One of the things I love to do with people as a shamanic practitioner is to take them on journeys. So I love the story you told about the baby, not getting the love that it needed at such an early age. Often I take people back to those very early years in their lives.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes it's the womb, sometimes it's in the crib. I mean, I have my own story in the crib that I tell everyone, what happened. And so I think the real key thing to do, because we can't change the past, but what we can do is repattern it and to help you to take care of that baby inside of yourself, because that baby still lives, and that baby will act out when you're in situations that become familiar. That might have been, I didn't feel like I got loved, I felt rejected, I felt abandoned. And so that baby will come out and lash out at a person when they're feeling abandoned or rejected. And so the key is to be aware of that and go, I need to parent that baby myself and give that baby love. And so, looking in the mirror at yourself and telling yourself that you love yourself. But I like to look even further. Look at all parts of yourself. We have an infant person inside of ourselves. We have, children of many ages inside of ourselves. We have the inner teen. And so it's kind of like, how do we take all these parts of ourselves, and I keep bumping this, how do we take all parts of ourselves and love every one of them? Because they all need love, and something significant happened to each and every one of them that come out when they want to lash out at folks or when they react or they're sad. And so, my thing is about being conscious and aware of where you are and who's out right now dealing with this situation, and who do I need to go give this love and attention to. And so that's what I love to teach people. I actually had a situation a few weeks ago. I was working with a client who had a stomach problem, vomiting all the time, went to the doctors. The doctors took her off meds thinking that was the problem. The vomiting still happened. And when we went back and we journeyed back to really what's going on, it was a generational piece, but also a piece in her lifetime right here and right now, where she dealt with as a teenager, and feeling like, her kids were going through a divorce. You know, her son and her daughter-in-law are, you know, kind of breaking up, and it really triggered a lot inside of herself. So I had her go back and look at where in her did she have those same feelings, you know? And so that's what we deal with, those feelings. And so if I can take those feelings and transform them and get you to go back and parent yourself at that time, what did you need that you didn't get at that time? And now it's time to give yourself what you needed at that time. But also looking at, you know, sometimes we come in this world, we have this DNA, yes, we can change our DNA energetically. And so the DNA patterns are, you know, maybe our mother or our mother's father or our mother's mother had the same thing happen to them. And then we get to come here and finally heal it. And so those are the kinds of things I love to work with people with. And so those are the things that actually will take love to another level with yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. You know, I have this wonderful machine, and near the end of September, so I want everybody to be watching the show, I'm going to be doing epigenetic screening at an event. So just to kind of put that out there. But so because you can change, you don't have to have the diseases or the conditions of your parents. Just start making some changes. So I'm really excited about that. But loving yourself unconditionally is our topic, and that is so powerful on so many levels. And so I want to just a couple of minutes. I'm gonna give Paula kind of closing remarks. If you can. You know, you have a couple of minutes, so a client is sitting in front of you. So this is this is closing. So you're going to tell them something to leave your office, so they're going to take it home, and it's going to be powerful for them.
Yeah, you know what? What I really would like to say is that now is your time. You know, whatever you've put up with in the past, whatever you've tolerated up until now, whatever story that you may have been telling yourself, whatever judgments that you have been placing on yourself, is that now is your time to do something about it. You do have a choice, and that may have not seemed like a real option up until now, but realize that if it's so much at the surface where you have, you know, what if Dr. Lee and Tomasa have been talking about, that it's affected you physically. It's affecting you physically, emotionally. Like everything inside of you is screaming, enough. It's enough. This is your time to take action, to step into a safe container, to know that you've got a really good guide that wants to take you through, that has experienced maybe the same things that you have, and can really help you to move past it, to really tap into the wealth that you have inside. You have all the resources. I know people hate when you say that, you know, you get all the answers inside, and people are like, yeah, right, you know, but you really do, because it's all sitting in there. You've taken in so much, you've just forgotten it. You've forgotten how to connect to your heart, how to connect to your inner higher self, and you've let something else take over. So now's your time to take it back. Just, you know, give yourself that reset, allowing yourself to really acknowledge, I'm not really where I want to be. I'm not as happy as I know I could be. I'm not tapping into the potential that I know that I have. And I need help. I need some support with this. And just ask for it. That's it. Just open up that door that you can step in with everything that you've got, you know, taking off any masks that you may have had, any type of layering, and just know that I can be okay. I can tell the truth. I can step into myself, and I'm going to be accepted. And it's okay to, you know, come into this alignment that I may have lost, that somebody pushed me against a wall when I was in a crib, or, you know, you had something that happened during your life that had you close down some part of yourself. Now's the time to reconnect, to love that aspect of yourself, because that is the thing that you've hidden, that part of you that you feared, any of that, that's the most important part of you that you've been hiding from yourself and hiding from everybody else. People want to see it. People want to know it. That's the rocket fuel that's going to send up this antenna and saying, here I am, universe, bring it in. Bring me everything that I want. Help me spread out into that potential to keep going wider and wider and wider and really live life to your fullest.
Yes.
Live that authentic and aligned life that you've always desired, that you always knew that you could have, that you've been afraid up until now. Step in and love it.
That was very well put. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Paula. That was very, very good. Thank you so much. And so, Tomasa,
Yes.
we're going to kind of wrap it up here because we only have a couple minutes left. And
Okay.
look into the eyes of our audience, and I want you to tell them they're leaving your office now, and you want them to depart with something that they can take with them that's going to empower them for the day, and not just for the day, for their life. Go.
So I want you to really tap into your inner self. And I know that might seem difficult, but know that you are here for a bigger mission than you could even understand. And so I ask you, are you playing full out in your life? Because if you're wandering around with pain in your body or, some dis-ease going on, regardless if it's showing up in your body of dis-ease in a situation, then it's time for you to take a stand to have more harmony in your life. And what does harmony look like and feel like for you? And so it's time for you to tap in. Yes, all the answers are inside. I know you're tired of hearing that, but part of it is going quiet. Be quiet and listen. Listen to the answers. Go spend some time in nature. Go take your shoes off and earth. Put your feet on dirt and feel yourself connecting to Mother Earth and to the spirit, because everything around us in nature is spirit in action. And so you can begin to allow answers to download to you. Everything you need is all inside of you. And everything that shows up in your life is a message that you need to listen to. Whether it's a spirit, an animal that is giving you a message, a plant that might be giving you a message, everything, an insect gives you a message of what's going on right now. And it's telling you something about your transformation here on earth. And so it's time for you to tap into your higher self. But to tap into your higher self, you have to start here at your heart, not here in your head, but right here in your heart, and feel it here.
Most definitely. That's wonderful. I want to thank you both for being a guest here today and leaving these parting words that have been so powerful. And I want to say, too, that everyone here has been ordained for greatness. Just take that in and know that you have been ordained for greatness. And when you've been ordained for greatness, you are not an accident. You were here, and God, the universe, have something for you that's wonderful. Take that in and know it. Sometimes people say, well, I don't know what my purpose is. You sit quietly, like my friend here, Tomasa, said. If you sit quietly and just wait, the word will come to you. Sometimes you just need to meditate and be quiet. So whatever is meant for you to have, your name is on it. There's no one else's name. Your name is on it. That's part of my book on written before I was born. One of the chapters is, whatever God has for you is yours. You are ordained for greatness. Know that. Know that. Sometimes we feel that I can't go any further. What am I supposed to do? I'm stuck. You're not stuck. So quietly, when you ask, it will show up. What do you want? You must ask, and it will show up. That's why I'm doing this show here today. I asked to do a TV show, and doors just started opening up. And I met a wonderful person who said, you must have this wonderful producer that I have here, that everything that you see is done real time. Nothing is post-production. Jarvis is one of the best producers anyone can have. And I've been blessed, truly blessed, to have this show, have wonderful guests that I have. But I asked, and the doors opened up. So you must ask for what you want. Now I'm asking to go a little bit higher here. And so I'm asking is will happen. So I just want to say, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. Our wonderful topic, love yourself unconditionally. Love thyself unconditionally. You must. if you want to grow in this world today. You have to stop and love you before you can love anyone else or have someone else love you. A lot of people looking for love. First, love yourself. Now, repeat after me. You know how I close my show now. Repeat after me. I am
I am
so grateful
so grateful
that I am
that I am
a magnet
a magnet
for miracles. We
For
know the
miracles.
power of I am. The I am is so powerful. So take this with you, and we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful, blessed journey.
Join us every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. for NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body.